Greetings fellow guitar travellers, my name is Round J Parker and welcome to yet another of these little web lessons I'm doing for you, which will be available on YouTube and also very shortly at my website, which is www.roundjparker.com. So as soon as that is live, I encourage you to head on over there and check out all the cool content I'm putting on that. So, what have we got in store for you today? Well, this is another of my extreme legato videos. I posted up a couple of videos previously, dealing with left hand development and some stuff of me just soloing over some grooves. So I thought I'd get more into this today, and we're going to really focus on developing the strength and dexterity in the left hand to the extent that we will not even require the right hand. So say goodbye to your right hand for today, will not be needed. Okay, so what we've got for you is a bunch of imposition ideas, some simple little imposition ideas, really help all 4 digits, and then we've got some arpeggio things, and then some kind of crazy mad runs at the end. Some of these are very musical, some of them are completely nonsensical, but they're all very beneficial. So that's what I've got in store for you. Hope you enjoy it. So guys, gals, grab that guitar, plug in, turn the distortion pedal on and get ready to legato. Yeah, so let's get started with exercise number 1. So let me go ahead and play it to you first of all, just so you can have a listen. Sounds like this one. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. For those of you who are wondering just what I'm doing with my right hand, I'm merely using it as a mute to stop the string vibration, so there's no other extraneous noise. It's not being used for any other purpose than that. When I posted a couple of other videos up on YouTube, people asked me why you're not using a hairband, and I said, well, I would normally use a hairband, but unfortunately I only have one hairband, and that's currently in my hair, so you're going to have to put up with the old right hand as a mute. But I think for today, just so it's not distracting, I'll just rest my right hand palm on the bridge and mute that way, just so that you're not bothering you in shot. But if you do see me do this, well, you know, that's what it's for, it's a mute. So let's get into the lick to start with. Alright, very simple 6-note lick, descending and then ascending. It is E15, 14, 13, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so the problem that you'll probably find trying to play this lick is that because it's all 4 digits, you'll find that the second and third fingers feel like they're welded together and they don't want to separate too well. And this is a very common problem, especially for rock players who are into lots of 3-note per string scales. They find 4-note things quite tricky. So you really have to work on the separation of those second and third fingers to get the line to flow smoothly. Alright, so that's the idea. So let me demonstrate slowly, and I'll show you exactly how I'm achieving the technique. So let's have a listen. So as I'm descending, you can see I'm pulling off sideways and down, and then as I'm ascending, really hammering on. So quite straightforward idea, but to get the execution correct is quite tricky. So that's the first exercise. We're going to demo this with a metronome just now, just to give you an idea of how it should sound when it's up to tempo. Metronome tempo 180, and I'm playing 16th note triplets, semi-quaver triplets against the time. And for those of you speed obsessive, so this will be, I think, 18 notes per second if I play it correctly. Alright, so let's try it with the metronome and see how it sounds. Okay, wild and crazy and probably musically not very useful, but a great exercise for the left hand, and great to do in the morning when your fingers are sleepy and you want to get just a bit of, you know, a bit of fluidity going. So that's number 1. Now let's move along. We're going to do exercise 2. Okay, now here is exercise number 2, which is really just an expansion of exercise 1. So I'm going to go ahead and play it for you, and then we'll explain exactly what's going on. Alright, so here it is. Here's number 2. Sounds like... so much the same as 1, but you've probably noticed that there's a wider interval, a wider expansion of the left hand. So what we're doing is expanding the index finger back 1 fret and the 4th finger forward 1 fret, which will give us this shape of a tone, semitone, and then a tone. And this shape's probably the easiest one to do when you first get into 4-note per string scales. Anything with a wide stretch between your fingers 2 and 3 is very tricky, as you'll see later on. So anyway, I digress. Let's just look at what's going on in this exercise. So we've got E17, 15, 14, 12, 14, 15, and the whole thing goes around again. Okay, so really the same idea as the last lick, but trickier because of the expansion. The notes we've got an A, G, F sharp, E, F sharp, G, and this will be the key of E minor. So it's a great little, you know, hard rock, heavy rock, E minor lick. So I'm going to proceed to demonstrate this to you with a little bit of cheesy keyboard backing. I've got a drum machine here and a chord, which will have the keyboard just E minor, outline the tonality of E minor. And once again, we'll maybe do a little bit of just triplets, and then we'll blast up some of these outrageous semiquaver triplets. Okay, so enjoy, here we go. Okay, loads of fun. So that one is number 2. We're going to crack on and do numero 3. Okay, now let's look at lick number 3, which is a continuation and expansion of the previous lick. So in the previous lick we had the interval of a tone, and then a semitone, and then a tone. Well, in this lick we're going to expand that to all tones, and that produces a fairly ferociously wide stretch for the left hand, and it's going to be quite tricky to articulate. So let me play it to you just to demonstrate, and we'll see exactly what's going on. Let's have a listen. Fairly mad sounding. So let's just have a look at the notes. So we've got E16, 14, 12, 10, 12, 14, and the whole thing goes round again. Fingering, obvious, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. So it's at this point that your left hand will really start to complain, because you're trying to get an interval of a tone between the second and third fingers, and the left hand really doesn't want to do this. It finds it difficult, very difficult to play well. So really work on trying to separate and articulate the notes that your second and third fingers are playing. It does take quite some effort. But once this is down, you can leverage this into monstrous sounding licks, because instead of having just 3 notes in a string, you've got 4. So there's one more, and one more is always better. So let's demonstrate the lick with a little piece of backing for you. The chord I'm going to play against is a D sus2 chord, because all these notes, we've got D, E, F sharp and G sharp, these are all in the key of D Lydian, which is related to A major. So we're going to be able to pull off something fairly musical, hopefully, using that chord. Should work. Alright, so let's stick the backing track on, a little bit of cheesy backing. Tempo 180 again, and the chord D sus. Alright, let's have a listen. Wild and crazy and quite tricky for the left hand. So good luck with that one. That's number 3. We're going to do number 4 now. Alright, now here is the last one for this section. It's exercise 4, which is a fairly tricky one because we're going a bit mad here, expanding the intervals even further. So in the last exercise we had all tones, 2 frets between each digit. We're going to make this even harder, and we're going to expand the index finger back another fret, and so we're going to have a minor third between the first and second fingers. So the span is minor third, 3 frets, and then a tone, and then a tone. And you can see the fingering I'm using here, all 4 digits of course. So lick starts on high E17, and then 15, 13, index finger plays 10, and back to 13 and 15, and again the whole lick starts again. So this would be the notes of a D minor pentatonic scale. So let's go ahead and play it for you. Sounds like this one. Let's have a listen. absolutely crazy. So for some bizarre reason, it actually feels a little bit easier to play than the previous lick. Now, quite why that is I don't really know, but it just seems that the span between the second and third finger doesn't feel quite so awkward. Maybe it's because the hand is generally more opened out. Not really sure of that, but it does certainly feel a little bit easier to play. So this one, uber tough. It is, after all, extreme legato, not slightly challenging legato. So let's play it with the backing track. I'm going to play against the D minor chord, since it's D minor pentatonic. And again, we're going to see if we can rattle this up to 180, and hopefully we do it without my hand falling off. Let's have a go. Awesome. Alright, well, that very challenging one concludes number 4. We're going to do some very cool hammer-on arpeggio licks next. Alright.